Welcome to round 13, where Jones took his 4th pole position at Suzuka and held the lead through the start, which was clean all the way down the field. Hutchings was doing well in 2nd and must have been feeling confident having won the previous race. Our championship leader Whitlock was battling for 3rd against Walker, but all he really needed to do to win the championship was to keep finishing ahead of his championship rivals Friesen and Tim Shade. On board with Portis in 5th, as we see that battle for 3rd. Whitlock and Walker, of course, having a lot of experience racing against each other and giving each other plenty of room. And no need for Whitlock to take any risks at this stage in the championship, potentially only needing a few more points to become champion. A couple of cars got unseated by a high curb at turn 12, one of them being Alves, that more or less got launched into the Bentley of Tripod before helplessly being struck by Bilardo and striking the wall, but fortunately he only lost a few seconds of time and seemed to get away without damage. At the end of lap 1, Rees had contact with Weeks, which looked a bit like a dive, although it's not clear if it was intentional. He got turned around, but made an aggressive recovery, spinning the car in a small gap in traffic. On lap 3, Pitch was probably trying to leave space for Wolff at the hairpin, but with the braking zone arriving so fast out of turn 10 that he was braking on the grass, narrowly avoiding the barrier, and then to make his rejoin a bit harder he had to reverse, and also avoid Bilardo. It sounded like Bilardo had double downshifted under braking, and then also spun on the grass. Pitch had dropped from 7th all the way to 22nd. A couple of laps later, Hosick made a move on De Groot in the battle for 15th, but ran a little too deep, trying to brake and turn at the same time, resulting in contact, losing a few positions, but there didn't seem to be any damage to either car from the incident. On lap 9 there was an incident between Panda and Polo, which was a little bit of a dive. A lap later, Walker had been keeping pressure on Whitlock and got a better exit out of turn 14, with Whitlock appearing to go defensive to the left, but hadn't really left much space on the right. Having taken that unusual line into 130R, he had an uncharacteristic mistake, with Walker pouncing on the opportunity to move into the top 3. Whitlock was still ahead of his championship rivals, potentially maintaining his championship lead into the last couple of races, so he could afford to let the place go. Tim Shade had accidentally underfueled his car, so despite this being a sprint race, he took a pit stop on lap 15, dropping from 6th to 22nd, which effectively put him out of contention for the championship. Bilardo had also taken a pit stop, and his race got worse as he then got caught in the high curb, leaving his car backwards, and would have another accident later on. Wolff had been running in 8th, but got an automatic drive-through penalty for exceeding track limits, and retired on lap 22, with Rees also getting a penalty and retiring. Hutchings had been keeping pressure on Jones through much of the race, and on that lap, Jones lost momentum heading into turn 8, but it's a tight high-speed corner, and there wouldn't be space for both cars. Jones remained in the lead, but at the end of the lap, with only 4 laps to go, with a little bit of contact Hutchings got alongside, and the two drag raced down to turn 1, both fighting for their 2nd win of the season. At turn 1, Hutchings took the lead, but no doubt their battle would have slowed them down, and Walker had caught up just behind them. Panda's race got a bit worse with this crash on lap 21 and spun again before the end. In his 2nd race, Hutchings held the lead at the end, making it 2 for 2, taking the fastest lap and jumping up to the top half of the standings, despite starting the season late. Jones took his 3rd podium in 2nd, and Walker took his 4th podium in 3rd. Weeks had a spin right before the end, unfortunately bumping the rear of his car as he tried to spin around, and lost 2 positions, crossing the line in 11th. Whitlock did finish 4th, with Friesen just keeping himself in contention for the championship, finishing a couple of places behind, but essentially Friesen would have to win both of the remaining races, without Whitlock starting either of them to get ahead in the points. In his 2nd race, De Roche got his first top 10 result. Pitch recovered from 22nd to 10th. Gould had started at the back after running out of fuel in qualifying, but also had recovered some positions, getting to 14th. The top 3 teams had been merging together in points, and any of them could take the team's championship, with a good result for Madhouse, leaving the top 3 separated by only 32 points. So that was round 13 of our 15-round championship. Join us for the penultimate round at Laguna Seca, where I suspect we'll see things getting a bit more competitive as we reach the end of this season.